All right, good afternoon, everybody. Storm Prediction Center, latest updates in with that. The level 4 moderate risk has been extended through different areas. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at that. So, even portions of Nebraska starting to be included in the enhanced risk, Des Moines, Iowa in there. Um, more of Missouri is included in this moderate risk, and I do believe that that is necessary, as that some of this moisture has been pulled further north into that area where we will see, especially that really strong low pressure system that's expected to move through the kind of take a hard, sharp left turn to the north has actually stayed its course a little bit longer. So it's going to bring some stronger wind shear and things like that through the state of Missouri, allowing for some stronger environmental factors for tornadoes this evening, especially through Missouri. So we're going to jump right in here. So right now, this is the just the categorical outlook here. The level 4 risk, like I said, it's been expanded a little bit further west. It hasn't gone east at all. Stayed west and a little bit further south now, including places like far western Kentucky and far western Tennessee, kind of where we were talking about yesterday, where I really anticipate those that tornado factor to be very prominent. So it's going to be in like southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, far western Kentucky, and far western Tennessee. This is for Friday night. Again, here is the tornado tab where we take a look at the tornado probability. Here it's scored at 15% in that area, again, near that southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, far west Kentucky, and far western Tennessee. You'll also notice that hatched area there. That is indicating that there is a chance for some strong tornadoes, EF2 or greater. Now, there's some good news with this, as the models that I've been looking at, and which I'm going to share with you here shortly, is looking like things are going to, as we head into the later evening and overnight hours, it doesn't look as intense as it did yesterday and the day before for that area. So, but that wind threat. So overall, Friday night is still shaping up to be a major wind event. So significant wind gusts from 70 all the way up to around 100 miles per hour, especially now through these areas that are going to see thunderstorms and as that really strong low pressure system begins to move through. You're talking about winds without thunderstorms between 30 and 50 miles per hour, those gusts. So adding in the fact that we're going to see some stronger thunderstorms with that as well, this is really more of a major wind event than a tornado outbreak. The tornado outbreak I expect for tomorrow, and we'll talk about that as well here in just a minute. But as far as tonight, still could see a couple strong tornadoes, especially in the area that we mentioned, southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, northeastern Arkansas, far western Kentucky, and far western Tennessee. Hail still a big probability there too, but again, I expect some larger hail tomorrow as well. So that is for tonight's outlook. We'll talk about the timing of those storms as we pull up the models, but jumping over to day 2 here for Saturday. Really kind of where we talked about, and I still think that there is a chance for this to be upgraded to a high risk or level 5, the highest that it gets for tomorrow. I do still think that that's there. I think there's going to be some factors that go into that as we look at the models that we'll talk about, whether or not that does happen. But again, right where we talked about yesterday, far eastern Louisiana, most of Mississippi, and now most of Alabama in here as well, and then moving into Georgia overnight. So, I think that you really have to be on your toes Saturday for a tornado threat if you are in those areas. And we'll start jumping into the models here right now. So let me jump over share this screen with you, and we can start talking about timing and the factors that go into this, and what we'll be looking at. So let me change our sector here because this is for Saturday night. So let's jump up further north for Friday night. And so what we're going to see here, we jump back. This is the short range model. So we're going to get some better clarity on these here. And let's just make sure that this is updated. Let me jump right back. And all right, here we go. So things start to fire up. You notice right there, you start to see this bow echo line of storms here. And so this is where things are going to change. Here, I can draw this line for you. This is going to be kind of the bow echo shape that I expect to move northeast here, and it's going to move through Illinois into Wisconsin. There'll be some strong winds. The area of concern that I have is going to be further south down in this area, where we're going to start to see these storms start to kind of break apart a little bit. You notice these kind of individual cells here. Those can be supercells and produce tornadoes, very large hail. And especially when they're individualized like that, they have more opportunity to take advantage of the factors that are in the air, because they're not connected to this huge line that's just pulling them along with it, right? So they have kind of their own mind where they can just say, okay, I'm just going to, take advantage of all the environmental factors, the wind shear, the moisture, the jet stream, all those things go into it. And when you have an individual cell, that gives it more opportunity to start rotating there. So where we see the bottom here, I really expect to see some of these broken and not connected to this line. And that's where we can start seeing some of those supercells. And so as we move forward, let me get this the drawings off your screen there. As we move forward, we'll start to see that. We can start to see those kind of break apart towards the bottom there, and they're kind of individualized, right? So that is really concerning for me. We're looking at 6Z here. So this is right around between 10 p.m. Midnight time. And so the models are showing that it's coming in a little bit later because it's starting a little bit further west than what it was showing yesterday. Yesterday, it showed storms popping up like right here. But like, for example, let me go ahead and circle this one here for you. These are very concerning right here. These can produce really strong tornadoes. That is definitely possible. Now, what you'll notice, though, as we move throughout the evening into the overnight hours, so, we'll see. Let me get this off your screen. And then here we go. We'll jump into it. And they're still individualized through southern Illinois there. It's starting to get into western Kentucky and far western Tennessee. But as we move just a little bit further into the overnight hours, it looks like it loses steam a little bit, especially as it's moving through southern Indiana here. So, it seems like the intensity and the environmental factors really are going to start to break down as we head into the overnight hours, especially the moisture. Let's go ahead and pop that up here, the dew points. You'll notice that those dew points get pulled further north here into southeastern Missouri, northern Arkansas. So again, that's kind of where my primary concern lies in there. And then along with that, the other reason I have that is these tornado parameters still very strong through that area, northern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri. And then it starts to fall apart as we're heading into the evening and overnight hours. Things start to kind of just calm down there as far as tornadoes go. And same with the supercell composite here. You'll notice that things stay fairly strong through that area in Missouri, Arkansas, southern Illinois. And again, this is through, between 10 p.m., 1 a.m. So you're really going to want to have your guard up for the overnight hours. You have a way to get warnings tonight. That is going to be super important for those areas. I do expect, southern Indiana to still get some really strong winds. So the tri-state area here, Evansville, Owensboro, Mount Vernon, Illinois, this area right here, still going to expect some strong thunderstorms. But as far as a tornado risk, I'm not as confident as seeing tornadoes further east as I am back west by Missouri, Arkansas, and the far western Kentucky areas and far western Tennessee. Those are going to be my primary areas of concern for tonight. So if you do live in those areas, make sure you have a way to get some warnings for tonight, especially if you're sleeping. If you sleep usually upstairs in an upper level, maybe think about sleeping downstairs tonight in your house. If you have that opportunity, just try to be on the lowest level so you're not caught off guard. If you're in an upper level apartment or in a mobile home, manufactured home, make sure that you have a way, find somewhere that you have to go that's a little bit more sturdy and structurally sound. If that's with family, if that's a hotel, whatever it may be, if you have that opportunity, make sure you do that. And, again, we still have time to prepare for this. So I think that's super important to take advantage of the timing right now that you have. So this way you are not caught off guard for this evening. But as far as strong tornadoes go, again, this is going to be that primary area. We look at the updraft helicity markers here, and you can see that those track along that area in Missouri, northern Arkansas there. So that's where we're going to see some of those strongest storms is through that area. And again, individualized like that, because what's going to happen is that bow echo shape, like I said, is going to move northeast here. Through northern Illinois into Wisconsin, and that lower part of that line of thunderstorms is going to be broken, allowing for individual cells to really take advantage of all the environmental factors to become more intense and more severe. So that's what we're looking at right here. You see that it's much more linear up here and connected than it is down to the south here. For those overnight hours. So make sure that, and you can actually, you can see that cyclone motion up here as well with that low pressure system that's moving through. And that's just going to be pushing those winds. And so that's why I say, even with the tri-state area, still got to be on guard for tonight into early morning hours because of those really strong winds. Again, if you have any loose items outside, definitely bring those in so you don't have things flying around out there. But I do anticipate the worst of these areas to be right in here. This is going to be the worst of the areas: southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, far west Kentucky, far west Tennessee, and portions of southern Illinois. So make sure that you take advantage of that knowledge right now. Jumping in for tomorrow, taking a look at Saturday, let's go ahead and change our sector here because things move way south for tomorrow. The deep south. And so the tornado outbreak going to consist, it's going to depend on a couple things, right? We have this first round of showers and thunderstorms that move through. That is not the tornado outbreak that we're expecting. Tomorrow, this right here, 18Z. So that puts us right around the noon hour. We're expecting this to be the tornado outbreak, right? But that, again, is going to depend on quite a few things, right? How much does this first round kind of restabilize the atmosphere? Does the sun come back out? Does the moisture stick around, right? So according to models right now, those dew points still sticking in the lower 70s to the far south and upper 60s throughout Mississippi, even as those storms move through, bringing that moisture in. So I think that there's still plenty of instability there. We go back to our convective tab here, and we can look at our tornado parameters. The tornado parameters for tomorrow, not as significant. You notice this is Friday night into Saturday morning, so towards the north up here. And that's kind of where we talked about earlier, northern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri. So that's what you're seeing there. As we head into the later evening and overnight hours and then into Saturday, things start to regain strength right there into our Saturday, 18Z, that noon hour. The tornado parameters really pick up central Mississippi into northwestern Alabama there. So that is really concerning. And you see that it sticks around. It continues to move eastward and just take advantage of all of those environmental factors and the instability and all that convective energy in the air. And we can actually look at that. We can see the convective energy here in the Cape values. So yesterday we were only seeing Cape values nearing 3,000. They weren't even 3,000. Now we're starting to see them. The models are showing them near 3,500. So I mean, this is going to be an intense day for tomorrow if this pans out the way that the models say they are. So an intense tornado outbreak with multiple strong long track tornadoes anywhere from EF2 to EF5 range is possible for tomorrow. I mean, the environmental factors are there in the atmosphere. The atmospheric conditions are going to allow for some intense supercells tomorrow. Gorilla-sized hail is going to be, just a thing, massive hail, up to the size of grapefruits potentially. And we can see that too, because we can look at these echo tops. And what we can see here, echo tops basically tell us how high precipitation is being recorded into these storms. The higher the level that precipitation is recorded in these storms, the stronger the updraft, essentially, which means that these storms have a very strong intensity. So you're seeing here 46, almost 47,000 feet. Anything really over 30,000 feet, it starts to get pretty severe. When you start nearing that 50,000, I mean, that is intense. So the fact that models are already predicting that, you'll be able, these updrafts are going to be bringing that precipitation. And obviously the higher you go to, the colder it gets as well. So that again produces hail. I think that's very important to realize here is that we're seeing things near, 50,000 feet, which again indicates that we're going to see some very big and large hail, but also some very strong supercells here with the potential for some really strong tornadoes, again, EF2 to EF5 range. But okay, let's take a second and time this out because I just kind of want to be brief with this and got a couple things I got to get done today. So again, it's going to depend on a couple factors, right? We have this first system that moves through Friday night into Saturday morning, and then, the atmosphere can kind of regenerate and destabilize again. And then we have the second round here that moves through. So 18Z here, things are already pretty active during the noon hour. So if you're in these areas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, even, right? You were central Tennessee. Your best chance to see a stronger tornado, I would say, is tomorrow. So be on your guard throughout the night tonight, but also into Saturday morning, because you'll still see some thunderstorms tonight. So I don't want you guys to think, especially if you're in those areas in the deep south, that think, okay, well, we saw thunderstorms tonight, everything's over. That is not the case, right? That is just the first round that's moving through. The tornado outbreak is expected tomorrow. And unfortunately, it's expected during the middle part of the day. Now, that's better in the sense that it's not nocturnal. So not a lot of people will be sleeping. But it's going to be a time where a lot of people are trying to get things done throughout their day tomorrow. So we have to make sure that we are on guard, right? It's Saturday afternoon. People are going to be out trying to get their errands done before they go back to work next week. There'll be events going on. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend. So please stay vigilant as we head into this weekend, because you're looking here, 18Z, noon hour. As we head into 21Z, that's 3 o'clock there. And then, I mean, you can really start to see these cells developing. Central Tennessee there, 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's going to be an important time range for you guys as these storms are moving through. And then we start to see as we head into 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now we're in, central Alabama. And then things start to move into the Georgia during the later evening hours and then into the overnight again. And they're not completely out of the woods, but you see how things start to become a little bit more linear there, so we're not really going to have to worry about too many supercells, but I would say, far western parts of Georgia should be on the lookout for some tornadic activity. But the main activity for tomorrow with these really strong tornadoes is going to be far eastern Louisiana, most of Mississippi, most of Georgia, and then portions of, Alabama, and then portions of Georgia. So most of Alabama and then portions of Georgia there. So make sure that you stay vigilant throughout the evening tonight, because there are going to be some very, very strong tornadoes headed into tomorrow. So be on the lookout for tonight for that first round of thunderstorms. A possible spin up is still, there's still a chance with that. But the main event for the Deep South going to be tomorrow. I would say starting between 10 a.m., working its way all the way. You're not out of the woods until probably Sunday morning, right? As far as far eastern parts of Alabama, you're not out of the woods till Sunday morning. So keep an eye on that. Have a way to get warnings. Talk to your family and friends. Make sure that people are staying safe. Make sure people are weather aware. Talk to people while you're out. If you're going to be out today, getting errands done, or talk to your friends at work, whatever you need to do to let people know that tomorrow is going to be the main event, and that there are going to be some very strong long track tornadoes and very, very large hail. Get your cars in the garage, get them, in the parking garage if you live in a complex, or, especially if you live in an apartment complex. One of the safest places you could be, obviously, is going to be that underground parking garage if you have one. So that's always an option. Basements are good, but lowest level of your house, room with no windows, and obviously you want to be in the most center part of your house as well. So usually that's a bathroom with no windows. Get in the bathtub if you need to, but have a plan in place so you can feel prepared, so you can feel confident, because I am really, really concerned about this area for tomorrow. So just make sure you have that way to get those warnings, and I'll give an update tomorrow morning as things are really getting going. And we'll probably do some storm tracking there and talk about what we're seeing as far as the tornado outbreak goes. But again, that is the primary area concern for tomorrow. Primary area concern for tonight for tornadoes, we can see it just up to the top of our screen here. Southeastern Missouri, northern portions of Arkansas. Okay. Those are going to be the areas for tonight. Everything kind of shifts south for tomorrow. So again, stay vigilant tonight. Share this video if you can to let people know what's going on. And again, just stay calm. Calm and collected is going to be the best way to make the best decision. So I know that in times of a weather crisis, things can get hectic, but as long as you're calm, you'll think the most clearly. And as long as you have a plan ready, so you're not scrambling around for tonight and tomorrow, depending on where you are. The northern regions, right? Make sure you have a plan for tonight. Southern regions, make sure you have that plan ready for tomorrow. All right, guys, I got to get some stuff done today. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. All right. Have a good day. And obviously, most of all, stay weather aware and stay safe. Bye-bye.